I don't want to see, especially younger people, I don't want to see them go through what I went through, because I've been to the very bottom.
We're headed to see our guy Chaz, Tady. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about his world, his experiences, and what drives him.
Chaz Tady is a lifelong athlete, from hockey to baseball to coaching, and now he's an IRONMAN All-World Athlete. But Chaz's journey hasn't been without its struggles. After walking away from competitive sports, he still craved the thrill of the game, leading him down a path of gambling addiction that nearly cost him everything, including his life. I'm Mark Pan, and this is Tell a Better Story. Chaz caught our attention when he transformed his Ironman training into a mission to support mental health and gambling addiction awareness. Partnering with The Hidden Opponent, a nonprofit dedicated to the mental health of student athletes, he turned his darkest moments into hope for others. So we flew out to Scottsdale, Arizona to spend a day with Chaz, capturing his rigorous training and uncovering the powerful story behind his advocacy. Join us as we dive into his incredible journey of resilience, redemption, and the relentless pursuit of a better story.
I remember the first time I put skates on. Lived in Colorado when my dad was doing a job out in Keystone, and the only thing to do there when you're 5 years old, let's say, is play hockey or baseball. And so, my mom took me to the outdoor rink, and my brother as well, and laced up skates for the first time, and it built so much character within me too at a young age, as I started to get into like leadership roles throughout playing hockey, and really started to find myself. Anything I wanted to do was sports. I wanted to, be in sports no matter what it was. Sports became my entire life. So anything I was going to do for the rest of my life was going to be around sports.
So you mix the emotional connection you have from that kid who put skates on for the first time to then pursuing something that you love, being good at it. If that only takes you to a certain point, which for 99.9% of people is where do you channel those energies?
Really, it took me until I was probably 24 to really say to myself, you're done. And so,
So where did it take you?
So it took me to some interesting places. My competitiveness was still there. I started to look at sports very differently, and I definitely got caught up in what is the sports gambling world at a younger age. I just didn't know what that really meant at that time.
Yeah, it was a different world back then than it is today.
Very different world. The landscape has completely changed. Accessibility with sports gambling is what's also very scary nowadays, because it's in our phones. So back then I had to find the means of what turned into my sports gambling addiction. So bookies, international accounts, overseas stuff. I mean, my life was sports. It turned detrimental very quickly. Yeah. And I had no idea that it was going to take as long as it has to break the cycle, but it's a cycle I think I'll be in for the rest of my life. It's just how do I monitor it now, and how do I make sure that I stay on a path that keeps me away from going back to where I was, which was a place of rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, when you use words like detrimental and rock bottom, those are powerful statements.
You really just
where is that?
you don't see it
Yeah.
at a young age either. Again, we're very naive when we're young. Like, we think we're invincible. So I really didn't understand what mental health was at the time, or depression or anxiety or anything like that, probably until I was about 24 years old, when I started working full time, getting paychecks, more like bigger paychecks, salary paying job, and using the majority of that salary to feed my sports gambling addiction on a daily basis.
Yeah. And what was rock bottom for you?
Rock bottom was my entire 20s, essentially.
Wow.
I went probably a good decade of, looking back on it now, I started to have the negative thoughts creep in at a young age, but again, thought it was normal, right? It wasn't talked about. It wasn't normalized or in conversations like it is today. And for me, it got to the point where I went 30 straight days of suicidal thoughts. I didn't think anything of it though. I didn't think I needed help. I didn't reach out to friends for help. My family had no idea. I looked so happy. And I remember waking up one morning and I was like, today's the day. Today's the day that I'm going to end it, because I cannot live like this anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to my family. I'm not in my relationships at the time. I'm not myself. The mood swings and the depression really start sinking in. And I remember walking up my staircase in my townhome, and I knew where I was going to do it. I knew how I was going to do it. And my dog was sitting in front of the door, and he was just sitting there. He's just so happy to see that I'm coming to the door, where he had no idea that I was ready to leave him and leave this world behind, because I could not take it anymore. Everything has come to this moment, and I look at him and I go, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so my dog saved my life.
What emotions does this place give you?
A lot of confusion.
Right.
Yeah, confusion.
It's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
Especially when you know, like, how, when you really get to that point of your end, when you're ready for it. The setting out here can also be a calming way of what I thought was saying goodbye, in a way.
Yeah.
And I was just going to pull my truck right around and just stare at the water, and I had my way of doing it, which was going to be very peaceful and just kind of fall asleep and hopefully not wake up, and then just be here in the moment and just kind of let it all release. But you know, when you coming back here and seeing it, it brings a lot of good and bad.
Have you been able to find the better kind of peace here again?
It's hard, because I think seeing, this is where I was saying goodbye also to my family and my friends at the same time. And so you can't believe that you ever would think something like that until you actually start walking up the staircase to leave to do it. Yeah. And so peace, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be at peace with like making that decision to say goodbye to my family without actually saying goodbye.
Yeah. Have you been able to fully accept or even forgive yourself?
I can be here now in this moment and still, you know, be present, I think is big in this area in particular. Because I have had so many good memories here. Yeah. I think it's the appreciation of like strength that I didn't know I had.
I think maybe that's what maybe that's what I mean a little bit about forgiving yourself. And while there's a huge appreciation there, it was also a point that you reached, and it's just part of your journey, but it's not going to define you.
Yeah, I think
going forward.
I think a big step in my life was when I decided to get baptized again last year on Good Friday, April 7th, 2023. I got baptized at one of the churches that I did find, and
Yeah.
I'm still learning, you know, even that whole, what it means to me.
There's a solitude here that relates to your personal journey, but you're also gonna, and are, helping a lot of people by sharing your story, and I'm sure that's helps. It's that reciprocity. You're helping other people, and through that, it's actually, that's coming back. It's coming back to you.
Yeah, like I told you, I've only been back here a handful of times maybe since that day, and being here with you guys is actually kind of in a weird full circle moment.
Appreciate you sharing it with us, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
This space, this moment, appreciate it.
I never cared about therapy. Therapy was not for me. I hated the word therapy.
It was like it was for the week.
It was for the weak.
Yeah.
It was for, you have problems in your life.
Yeah.
You have, you know, nothing going for you type of scenarios. And I was not weak. I knew I wasn't weak. I finally reached out for help. I started going to GA meetings. You know, there was a big part of GA that I hated going to. It was, majority of it is older people in their 60s and 70s. And I'm like, this isn't me. I'm 29, 30 years old. This isn't me. What am I doing? But I could also see where my life was going now, also seeing them in GA finally. And so I didn't care that I was the youngest. I was ashamed that I was the youngest. I was scared that I was the youngest. I was like, I can't talk to these people. But what I started to realize is I will be them in the next 40 years, still going to GA meetings, having this problem if I don't figure something out. I think I was 30 years old when I came up with, you know, the concept that I follow today, which has saved my life day in and day out, and it's Find Your More. I got it tattooed right here, my mom's handwriting. And so this is my daily reminder now. And you know, I had to create this concept to pull myself out of that rock bottom, and MORE stands for motivation, opportunity, routine, and energy.
Born out of crisis, Find Your More became Chaz's personal life system, which then led to the creation of Find Your More Performance, a service honed through experiences and aimed at empowering lives through mental health support, addiction recovery, and performance coaching. Chaz now dedicates himself full-time to this mission.
I'm curious about two things.
Yeah.
Like, how did you start using it, and how has it evolved for you personally today? Like, is it, you know, set an intention every day? I'm going to, you know, each and every day. Like today, it's, I'm going to focus on motivation or opportunity or routine or energy, or is it something that like kind of interweaves throughout the day depending on what comes up?
Yeah, I think that's what's been so powerful about it for me too, is I was putting so much of a concentration on this has to hit perfect. This has to be a home run concept, because otherwise what are you doing it for? But every time I do see myself and I say, find my more today, like what am I here for? It's worked.
Yeah.
And that could be the routine, that could be the energy, that could be the opportunity or the motivation.
Yeah, what's cool about that is like so many of us want like, just give me the answer. Just
give me the answer.
Just tell me what to do. I need the silver bullet. Give me the pill to take. Give me the
give me the pill to take. I love that reference. It's so true though.
Yeah. But this is like this is a framework.
Yeah.
And it's a system. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to you.
Yeah.
To find your way through Find Your More.
And that's what I have found. It's been built on a rocky foundation because my life was such in shambles at the time. I didn't want it to be just another idea that went to shame or to failure.
Yeah.
But once I started to not fear the failure, fear the judgment of others, I didn't really care if you were in my corner or not. If you're in my corner, you're in my corner. But at the end of the day, even if you're not in my corner, you still might learn something from this concept. Maybe now, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10. Yeah. So I think it's one of those things that has captivated me in a way that now I'm very excited for where it's going to go.
Well, we hope to be a small part of helping you on your journey as well.
Yeah.
So that's unreal, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's unreal. Seriously.
It's been a long time, but it is what it is.
You know that story about like, such a relatable story as well.
Yeah.
Like yours is specifically about your journey through sports, through gambling, the addiction there, your rock bottom, which is going to be different than, that's very personal to you. It's going to be different than someone else's. But you're right, we all struggle, and I think we all are capable of strength, but also capable of living those double lives and not necessarily realizing it in the moment. And I think that is the power of what you're finding through Find Your More.
One of the best things that was ever said to me, I wrote my father a letter. It was the first time I admitted that I think I had a problem. He said one thing to me, and it has changed everything too. He said, we all have skeletons in our closet. And so some are good, some are bad, right? I mean, but either way, we've all done something in our lives that we regret. He told me, it was a long letter, and that's all he had to say. And then he ended it with, what are you gonna do now? I thought that would have been my aha moment, but that wasn't. That was the start of it. And with this addiction, what I've noticed is that it's a long game. You can't just stop cold turkey. Because physically I was good, I was still working out, I was still doing all the fun things, right? But like between the ears started to get so bad that you don't want to come to terms of it, because we have 20,000, 50,000 thoughts a day. What I started to realize is I love helping other people too, but I had to take care of myself first. And so when I started to take care of myself, that's when it started to open up more opportunities to help other people and be outspoken. This story in particular, I was very scared to share. There was a massive fear of judgment for the longest time. I had what some would look like is a very great life, normal life. Normal is very subjective, but like pretty normal. Like I said, I was raised very right. My mom has always told me, treat people the way that you want to be treated too. And so for me, I'm still gaining the confidence to share my story because there's so much to it. There's so many layers. And why not me? If that's what I'm supposed to do, if I'm supposed to be the guy, if you want to judge me, judge me. I care about how I'm going to leave this earth now, because I was going to leave it on the terms that I was not accepting of. I would have left my family in confusion. They would not have known about the struggles that I had. If I can be that voice for people and share my story and how it is relatable to everyday people, then so be it. Let's do it. I would say don't try to be perfect. If you continue to try to be perfect, then any mistake that you make along that way, you're going to think of yourself as a failure. Nowadays, I still struggle, but what I struggle with the most is how do I get the word out faster? Make progress to where you want to be, and just keep fighting every single day, because the fight is worth it if you have something worth fighting for, and I think everybody's life is worth fighting for.